Welcome to Sex Ed with DB. I'm your host, DB. Let's get into it. Here are my top 3 favorite things I love about Uberlube. Number 1, Uberlube makes sex feel a lot more pleasurable. It's as simple yet as powerful as that. Number 2, Uberlube is recommended by leading doctors, and its body-friendly ingredient list is widely used by people with sensitivities to lubricants. And number 3, Uberlube will not stain clothing or bedding. Any spills can be easily cleaned with detergent and water. Get your bottle of Uberlube now with code SEXEDWITHDB for 15% off at uberlube.com. Abortion is healthcare. Abortion is a human right. People have always had abortions, and they will always have abortions. And these days, it doesn't require an office visit. Let's talk about medication abortion. It's safe and effective using 2 kinds of pills, mifepristone and misoprostol, or misoprostol only if mifepristone is unavailable. And it's available by mail in all 50 states, with hotlines and support resources too. Plan C is an amazing nonprofit information campaign that runs an online guide to pills and advocates for safe, legal, affordable, stigma-free abortion care for all. Will you join the movement with me? Visit plancpills.org to learn more. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I am so excited to be here with you today to administer a very fun quiz. I don't think we've done an episode like this before. The thing that I can think of that was most similar was when we interviewed author Rachel Feltman, when we talked about her book all about sex facts. And I learned a little bit from her about essentially from her book, and she quizzed me while we were on the show together. So if you haven't checked out that episode, I highly recommend you go back to our previous episodes, type in Rachel Feltman, and you can find it. But other than that, I don't think that I've quizzed folks before like this. And if I have, email me to tell me that I'm wrong so that I can right my wrongs. But nevertheless, I'm very excited to talk all about periods today. I feel like we haven't had a recent period episode, and I feel like for me and so many people that listen to this show, it's kind of on our minds like a week of the month at a time. And I feel like we don't really talk about it enough. It's just something that we kind of like experience, we go through, we manage it. Sometimes we have pain, sometimes we're frustrated, we're in a bad mood, and then we just repeat the next month. And so I kind of just wanted to like say, I hear you, I see you, I feel you, people who are getting their periods. Maybe you're on your period right now. I luckily am not. I am someone who really hates getting my period. I think it's like really annoying and it's pretty heavy for like 4 of the 6 days that I have it. So that's like pretty frustrating. And yeah, that's fine. That's fine to be annoyed by it, and that's fine to be frustrated by it. But I feel, generally speaking, like many people in our DMs ask us questions around pregnancy and around ovulation and around periods. And I feel like I wanted to create this episode in a fun, engaging quiz to really get people excited about learning about periods, even if you don't like having it like me. I do feel empowered when I have more information about my period, and I'm hoping that also rubs off on you if that's something that you're interested in. So here is the period quiz that you have been waiting for. And if you want to pause, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like we have done a quiz before. I'm not sure which one it was. Maybe it was about like the orgasms. I don't know. Go back and see if you can find it and DM us for a prize. I'll give you a sticker if you DM us on Instagram with a previous quiz episode. Guys, when you've done over 170 episodes, you kind of forget. They all blend together. But anyway, I'm going to ask questions and then pause as I ask the question. And then you can like say the answer in your head to see if you got it right. These will all be fill in the blank. We're not doing, what's it called? Multiple choice. We're doing fill in the blank here. So let's get started with the first question, which is, how many people in the world menstruate? Go ahead and pause and take your guess. All right, by now you've unpaused, and I'm here to tell you that more than half of the world menstruates. Again, why is there still so much stigma associated with talking about it? Lots of people buy tampons at the store, or, some people need to take a sick day from work when they have really bad period pain. It's a really taboo topic in many environments, but I really feel like the more we learn about it and the more that we talk about it and we recognize that people of all genders can experience menstruation, the more likely that we are to normalize conversations about it and break down some of that stigma. So the next question that I have for you is, how would you define menstruation? What's the definition that you would give there? All right. So menstruation, let's see how much you got this right, is the shedding and discharging of blood and other materials from the uterus, aka a period. Why don't you take a guess now? What is the average menstrual cycle? How many days? This one's kind of cheating because you probably get roughly the amount of days, but go ahead and take a guess. So the average menstrual cycle is actually 28 days, but a 21 to 35 day cycle is also typical. So if you fall somewhere within that zone, then that is typical of menstruation. So every month, the body prepares for pregnancy by lining the uterus with blood and tissue. And around day 10 to 16 of that cycle, ovulation occurs, which is when an egg is released from the ovary and aims for the fallopian tube. And if no pregnancy occurs, the uterus sheds its lining and the blood exits through the vagina. And bleeding lasts for around 2 to 7 days during menstruation, and how light or heavy a period is can vary from person to person. Let's talk about the different ways to collect period blood. Why don't you name all the ways that you know that exist right now in 2023 for collecting period blood? Go ahead and guess. So the current options for collecting period blood include tampons, pads, menstrual cups, menstrual sponges, menstrual discs, washable pads, and period underwear. And the method that you choose may depend on how long or short or heavy or light your flow is. So if you have a really light flow, you might want to just use a panty liner. Or if you have a really heavy flow, maybe you want to use like a whole period underwear situation where like the lining goes up to your butt and kind of, you're covered on all sides. But if you choose a method where you have to put your fingers inside of you to utilize it, you might want to consider whether or not you're comfortable with that. And you might want to try a new option if you feel like your current management isn't really working for you. So I'll give you a true or false on this one. Is it true that you should use products with fragrances or perfumes? That's actually false, all right? So those can disrupt the natural pH of the vulva or the vagina. So as sex educators, and ask doctors, ask whoever you want, whatever medical professional you want, you should not be using products with fragrances or perfumes. It drives me absolutely bonkers to go down the CVS tampon aisle and see that there are tampons with perfumes in it. It is very stupid and is kind of like peddling this idea like that women and people with vulvas should smell dainty, and that's absolute bullshit. So don't use those. Now we're going to take a little break, and then we'll talk about some common period side effects. When you think about the words pleasure and power, what comes to mind? If you're a fan, you know my answer will always be the magic wand. But what if I told you the magic wand could fit in the palm of your hand? Say hello to the Magic Wand Micro. The Magic Wand Micro may make you wonder how it can possibly represent a brand renowned for power. But once you turn it on, this impossibly powerful, multi-function, multi-speed massager proves it's a magic wand through and through. Same magic, now in pocket size. Use code SEXEDWITHDB at Lion's Den for 15% off your Magic Wand Micro now. We talk a lot about sex ed, but when we're shopping for products to support our sexual wellness, exploration, and expression, we head to the experts at Lion's Den. For 50 plus years, Lion's Den has been a leader in adult products. Whether you want to explore a new kink or add a little romance to your evening, Lion's Den has something for all. Each location is brightly lit and staffed with the very best experts in pleasure, passion, and romance, so you can feel comfortable and confident in your purchases. Lion's Den is offering our listeners 15% off your purchase in-store and online using code SEXEDWITHDB at lionsden.com. Okay, we're back. So let's talk about those common period side effects. So if you suffer from cramps, PMS, or other negative side effects, there are options to lessen stress and pain when Midol just won't cut it. So maybe let's pause right here, and why don't you think of what are those options to lessen stress and pain when Midol or ibuprofen won't work? Okay, welcome back. So we have 4 options for you. 1, changing your birth control. So switching to a lower dose BC or non-hormonal BC may reduce negative symptoms. Definitely talk to your care team or your medical provider before doing this. 2, skipping your period. And yes, this is safe and doctor approved. We did an entire episode on this actually with Dr. Sophia Yen from Pandia Health. Number 3, this is a fun one. Engaging in sex, masturbation, or exercise could relieve your cramps. These activities can reduce pain and increase pleasure during your period. And number 4, just generally seeing a doctor or a medical professional. If you're having serious pain or side effects, you should definitely see somebody because serious side effects can be a sign of endometriosis. So you really want to make sure that you're describing your side effects and your symptoms, and that you advocate for yourself as best as you can at the doctor. True or false? People of any gender can experience menstruation. That is true. Anyone with a uterus can experience menstruation, and it's important that we are inclusive with our language around that. There are plenty of people who menstruate who identify as non-binary or queer. There are trans people who menstruate. And so we need to be really aware of the language that we're using around menstruation to ensure that people feel included in the conversation, because it's really about a body part. It's not about the way in which that our gender identity is. It's more about the parts that we have and how to manage our period in the best way that we can. And so, in terms of other episodes that we do have an episode all the way back in season 2, episode 5, where we featured guests Nadia Okamoto, Luna Matatis, and Sarah DeAndrea. That's called Bloody, all about periods and menstruation. And we hear different folks' stories about like the way in which that they first experience menstruation. And so if you're seeking some more content about periods and you want to learn more, definitely check out that episode. And I definitely want to hear from you all listening. I'm talking to you. I want to know what your experience or associations are with menstruation. And if there's any information about periods or menstruation that you just feel like you don't know and you want to learn more about. So email us at sexedwithdb@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to do a follow-up episode or to answer your email with information that you want about periods. That is all for today. I'm so excited to be back with some more content next week. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Our creator, host, and executive producer is me, Danielle Bezalel. Our producer and communications lead is Catherine Cohen. Our producer and communications coordinator is Sadie Leegee. Our marketing coordinator is Kate Fiala. Our music theme is by Hook Sounds. Thanks so much to our featured guests, partners, and listeners. Want to partner with us? Email us at sexedwithdb@gmail.com. For more sex ed content, follow us on Instagram at sexedwithdbpodcast and on TikTok at sexedwithdb. Want to rep us with some brand new Sex Ed with DB merch? Go to sexedwithdb.com/merch to check it out now. See you next time.